So last night I wanted to watch Animal House to actually find out whether or not it's the funniest movie ever made. I saw it once about 10 years ago because according to my mother, who's Gen X, and most of the Gen Xers I know, say that Animal House is the funniest movie ever made. However, about 10 years ago, my brain was still updating, and I don't remember it being that funny. But I was gonna find out. Except I can't. Because apparently it's only on MGM's streaming service. I didn't even fucking know MGM had a streaming service. And it will be a cold day in hell before I buy another streaming service. So anyways, last night I watched Monster, a 2003 film starring Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci. It was nominated. I think it won a BAFTA. Charlize Theron got an award. I think it won Best Picture too, or at least it was nominated. But it's the retelling of Aileen Wuornos by Patty Jenkins. You know, Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins. But also Wonder Woman 1984, Patty Jenkins. But also 1984 Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins. But we're not talking about that. So Monster is the recount of real-life serial killer from Daytona Beach, Aileen Wuornos. So Aileen, this was either the 80s or the 90s. So back in it's either the 80s or the 90s, I didn't catch it. She was a lifestyle and health companion. One that you would find on the side of I-95. You get what I'm saying? And she meets a woman named Selby, that's Christina Ricci. And they begin a relationship. When one of her customers goes Ari and starts doing some really bad things, she kills him. And then it just starts a whole string of her killing her Johns, stealing their cars, their wallets, things like that. And then this continues until she's caught. And then I think she's like the first woman to be executed from death row in the state of Florida. Or maybe she was the last. Let me double check that. Okay, she was the second woman to be executed in the state. And the 7th to be executed in the United States as of 1976 when capital punishment was restored. Now, what was portrayed in the movie were the events that started just before the killings and went up until her execution, minus her first appeal rejection and her rescinding her second appeal. Which her rescinding her second appeal, apparently she admitted to doing what she did for the sake of robbery, and that she said that she has no real value for human life, or something to that effect. Now, what they allude to, but they don't talk about, is just this catastrophe as to what got her here. For good reason, they don't show any of that, but you have to be really paying attention to catch what happened. 2 decades worth of child crimes of such nature by a neighbor. And then she's beat by her dad because of the scenario. She enters the profession at 13. She gives up a baby. There's a lot to it, so if you're going to watch this, this is definitely you don't throw it on while scrolling your phone kind of movie. You have to pay attention. I think what Patty did set out to make Aileen as morally gray as you can get. And there's a lot of people out there that actually, if they don't agree with what she did, place her in the morally gray category, just because she is the victim of, I'm going to say trafficking, because that's essentially what it is. I'm not saying don't watch it. I am, however, saying if you have trauma of a sexual nature, do not watch it. And this is not for you. I am saying go into this ready to pay attention. And on a technical level, I would say it's really well made. Hand to God, Charlize Theron blows this out of the water. And that's why she won Best Actress. But you know what kind of pisses me off about the whole thing? The only thing I've heard about this in the last few years is people talking about, I can't believe how ugly they managed to make Charlize Theron. Seriously, out of all this, that's what was absorbed. But hell, can we expect better? The other thing that doesn't really get talked about, hi Philippa. The other thing that doesn't really get talked about is Christina Ricci's very eclectic performance in the Y2K era. She did Monster, she did Black Snake Moan, Pumpkin, and Speed Racer, all within a 10-year period. And each are so vastly different from each other. So as I typically do with true stories, it's going to be unrateable. I am saying, if you can stomach that sort of thing, go watch it. Proceed with caution, but watch it. Okay, bye. Just a small town girl, living in a lonely world.